Hello, welcome back to my kitchen. If you haven't been to my channel before, I'm Vickie. This is Vickie's Country Home. I live on 40 acres off-grid, completely off-grid, in northern Nevada, and you wouldn't know it to look at it, but I am. I'm totally off-grid. And there's videos about that if you're interested. But if you haven't been to my channel before, I make videos about homesteading, and that is cooking, canning, gardening, making sourdough bread from scratch, making cheese, just whatever I come up with. And I love to learn new things and experiment. So there's going to be a lot of things out there. So if you haven't been and you like this, please go down below and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you click on the notification bell so that it notifies you anytime I upload a video. And give me a thumbs up if you like this. So those of you that have been with me a little while know that Brian and I started the keto diet over a year ago, almost a year and a quarter. January 1st of 2020. What a year. And we did really well for most of the first year. And we both lost a pretty good amount of weight. He lost a lot. It's gotten harder because we're from the South. And everything's got carbs in it. So the flavors and the textures that we like aren't always real doable on keto. So when I found this recipe for keto fried chicken, I got excited, and I am so hopeful. But I'm going to bring y'all along, and we're going to see how it turns out, because we've had keto wins and we've had keto fails. I'm really picky when it comes to taste and texture. It's got to taste good, and it's got to have that good texture for whatever I'm making. So let's try this out and see how it turns out. All right, I found this recipe at Modern Mountain Flour, and I'll try and leave a link down below for you. What makes this recipe different is the type of flour it uses, and I had never heard of this until very, very recently. It's lupin flour, and I guess that is the lupins, such as bluebonnets and other types of lupin flours. So I'm going to mix up the coating first so it'll all be ready. So I have 2/3 cup of lupin flour. I have 2/3 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. I have 1/3 cup of flax meal or flour. To that, I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of pepper. I'm never satisfied with the spices. This calls for 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. I've probably got 1.5 tablespoons of garlic powder in there. And I've got almost 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper powder, but that was not called for. So I'm going to add those. And then I have 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of basil, and I've got 1 heaping tablespoon of onion powder. Again, I added a little bit to that. And I just want to combine that well. This is going to be the crust for fried chicken, we hope. So we want to mix it up well, because we want those seasonings really mixed in and in every bite. All right, there is our coating for the fried chicken. So while I'm getting the pieces of chicken prepared, I've got, it called for 1 cup of oil for frying. You know what? This is Southern. I got lard in there, and I have a little over a cup, I think. I didn't measure. And since it's Southern, I had to do this. This apron. It's not super old, but to me it's a treasure. This was made for me by my grandmother, and she passed away in 2003, so this is really special to me. And fried chicken, you know, you got to go with Grandma, so thank you, Grandma. So what I'm going to do is get that oil melted, and not oil, excuse me, it is lard. I'm going to get the lard melted, and I'm going to get it up to about 350 degrees. I've taken 2 large eggs laid yesterday by my hens, and my rooster died, so I'm really upset. Got to get some more chickens and a rooster. I'm going to start with 2 beaten eggs. It calls for 3 or 4, but it also called for 4 chicken breasts. And this was 1 chicken breast. It was huge. So I decided there's no way I'm going to cook 4 chicken breasts. All of the ones I'm getting are just giant. So I cut it up into pieces, and mostly about 1/2 inch to 3/4, probably 3/4 inch thick. And I'm just going to blot some of this liquid because we really don't want a whole lot of it. Now what I have here is about 1/2 cup of oat fiber. Because it's keto, we need things that are low carb, no carb. And oat fiber probably has no nutrition, is my guess. But it also has no carbs and no calories. It's just 0 calories, 0 fat, 0 cholesterol, 0% sodium. It's got 3 grams of carbohydrate, but 3 grams of that are dietary fiber, so it's net 0 carbs, which is really important on keto. The lupin flour, which is kind of the key ingredient on this, has total fat is 2 grams, cholesterol 0, sodium 1%, potassium 10%, which is kind of good. Total carbs are 12 grams, but out of that, 11 grams are dietary fiber. So you're only getting 1 net gram of carbohydrates, which again is really, really good if you're on keto. And again, I've never heard of it till recently. I decided to try it. It does have kind of a taste to it, so we'll have to see how it comes out. If you watched me before, even if you haven't, I really believe in tasting your ingredients because ingredients vary a lot. So before I go to all the work of getting this prepared and then find out I didn't like it, I taste them. I lick my finger. Yes, it's me and Brian. We're used to that. And I'm going to taste this coating mixture. Now there is a little bit of flavor to the lupin flour that you can really taste. Not really taste. It to me, I can taste it. It's not unpleasant. It's maybe a little bit sweet, which is floral, so maybe that's why. But I think those extra ingredients, the extra garlic powder, especially that tiny bit of cayenne pepper, maybe gives it more of the traditional fried chicken flavor. So I'm gonna leave it like this. I added slightly more onion powder. I did add the cayenne and a fair amount of garlic. Well, you got to do garlic. Really, you have to. So I've got everything ready to go. My lard is melted. Now I'm waiting for it to come up to temperature. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my slices and I'm going to, again, blot them just a little bit because it's really juicy. I'm going to dip them in the oat flour. Just dredge it just a little bit. Like that. Now I'm going to put it in the egg mixture. Actually, just eggs. And then into the coating. And hopefully you can see this. I'm just going to make sure it's really well coated. And really press it down into that. I want that coating to stick. Again, can you believe this is one chicken breast? This thing was huge. And I didn't know how I was going to use it. And then I saw this recipe and I thought, perfect. I'm going to use it for a whole recipe. I'm going to finish coating my chicken and getting it ready, and then we'll come back and fry it up. So I've tested my lard by dropping just a bit of the coating in there. And it's ready. So I'm going to put in my first pieces carefully. Always lay them in gently. Don't ever drop them. While that's browning, I want to show you, this is how much I have left. Now, this is using mostly the original recipe for 4 chicken breasts. Like I said, this one was probably the size of 2. You could easily have this for 2 people. But if you're making it for 4 people, I would definitely go with the full amount. So next time, if this is good, that's still up in the air, I would definitely half this. And the recipe called for 3 to 4 beaten eggs. I used 2. And this is what I had left. Now the recipe called for 2/3 cup of the oat fiber. I only put in about half a cup. I wouldn't even use that. There's still quite a bit in there, so much less amount of the oat fiber. And if you've done keto, you know some of these ingredients can be costly, so lessons learned. So I let it brown. I turned it over carefully because I don't want to break off that coating. Now I'm going to let the chicken completely cook, and then I'm going to take it off and put it on a wire rack with a paper towel under it. Mostly because the recipe advises that if you put it directly on the pan or on the paper, you're going to lose a lot of your coating, and I'm not working this hard to do that. So we're going to see how it works. These are over 165, which means they are done. And that's how they look. And I'm going to very gently lay them on this rack so that that coating doesn't fall off and so they have a chance to cool. Now I'm going to put the next batch in. And then we're going to let these get totally browned. Now, because I really dislike wasting these ingredients, I poured some of, probably a little more than half of the coating mixture in here. And I'm going to add some of my really good milk. I have no idea how this will turn out, but I'm always up for it. I added just a tiny bit of the oat flour, not very much, because it really doesn't add a whole lot in taste. And this milk is really rich in butterfat. This is Azure Standard, Alexander Valley Farms, Alexander Family Farm, and I love this stuff. And since I'm making it up, I don't know how much milk I need to add. I'm just going to add it until it looks right to me. And I'm going to tell you, I love that chicken frying pan. I bought this when I visited Mrs. Laurie at Whippoorwill Holler. And it is old and it is just so good. I think that's good enough. I don't want it too wet, but that should hold mostly into a ball. And I'm just going to take a small amount and put it in there, coat it, and we'll see how these come out. Kind of like hush puppies, but I don't know. It's an experiment. So as soon as those pieces of chicken finish frying, we're going to fry these up and see how they do. Let's see how these do. They're kind of like hush puppies, but not really. So I've coated them in the extra coating, and they're made from the coating, so we'll see how they do. You know, it's better than wasting it, so we'll see. There we go. And that's what I had left. Which is a whole lot better if this turns out than throwing all of it away. You know, you never know. All right, here it is. My keto fried chicken and keto hush puppies, or we'll see. We don't know how any of this is going to be. Well, avocado, lettuce, tomatoes, that we're good on. So let's take a taste and see if this tastes like fried chicken. Looks like fried chicken. Kind of tastes that way. There's a little bit of a different flavor. It's not bad. It is different. So, Grandma, it's not the same. But you know what? It's not a bad taste. It's a little bit different. The seasonings definitely help. It's not what you're used to, but it's not that far off. So this is something I could eat as fried chicken. It has some crunch, not a lot. And I sure wish I could make it smothered like Mrs. Glory does, but that's not going to happen with keto. That'd be too many carbs. But it does have a little bit of crunch, and I think that's due to the oat flour, the lupin flour, and the Parmesan. The taste, again, it's just slightly different. Some people might not notice it. I do, but I'm kind of picky. So I think this is okay. I would do it again. Now this is a total wild card because this was not in the recipe. I hate wasting that much keto ingredients. So I fried this. Let's see how it comes out. You know, it tastes good. It's not like a hush puppy. Now, if you added some oat flour to this, it might be more like that. But it actually tastes pretty good. It reminds me of something. It's not quite, but almost the taste that you get with deep fried zucchini. Weird, but that's almost the taste. Surprising, I would do this again. There's no way I'm going to waste those ingredients. if it tastes good. So I hope y'all enjoyed this too, because I love experimenting. Thank you for watching. God bless. Again, if you enjoyed this, please hit the thumbs up button and be sure and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. We'll see you soon. God bless.